and welcome to the Dead Unicorn, the tabletop role-playing game club. My name is Corey. Thank you all for joining us for our review of Children of the Five Winds. This is, I am super excited about this because Asmodee sent me a copy of this book that is a pre-release. This is special for this channel. It's special for you guys, so you can see this book before it comes out on August 11th. It is created by Edge Studio. This is the first Edge Studio book for this edition of Legend of the Five Rings that is all them. The previous book, what was it called? Not Fields of Victory. Okay, the previous book, Rid of the Wilds, was, I think it was half made under Fantasy Flight and half under Edge, but this one is totally made under Edge because, you see, the rights to Legend of the Five Rings, the role-playing game, moved from Fantasy Flight to Edge Studios. As you can tell on the original book here, so this is the core rule book. This is what you'll need to play this game. And this is published by Fantasy Flight, and this is published by Edge Studio. So it's interesting how the rights have changed, but it's still the same game. And you play the game with these funny looking dice right here. And basically what this means is these little circles are success dice, so you get successes to meet TNs. But you can also get, these other symbols, which are called opportunity, which give added bonuses that don't necessarily tie in to what you're doing, making it a greater success, but can add other effects to things. So, for example, if I'm shooting an arrow, I can get greater range with opportunity. But to hit or not, I still need the successes. And I'm going to take these dice and I'm going to put them back in this little bag. By the way, like I said, I am doing this as a live stream right now. So anybody who is joining me on the live stream, I got you right over here, and I will be looking at your comments and making sure I can respond to them, because I want you to know what's in this book. So here we go. Legend of the Five Rings. Children of the Five Winds. The Essential Guide to the Burning Sands. And that opens it up. This has a lot to do with the Burning Sands. There's an entire chapter about what's going on there. This book will come with just the book. It is 200 and I believe 20 some pages. No, it is 176 pages, and it comes with a map. It is hardcover, and the map, it's only the map of Unicorn Lands, unfortunately. I mean, it's nice to hang on the wall. If you have all of the maps, you can hang all of the maps on the wall, and you'll have a complete map of Rokugan by the end. The flip side of these maps usually have stuff for an adventure. They'd have like a castle or a city, but here we're not having that. It's just, again, the map of Rokugan. A little disappointing. It's a little disappointing, but I don't know what the budget is for these books now. I don't know if the artist has moved on. She's not under contract for those maps, but I hope we can get some more maps in the future, even if they don't fit the same style as before. It's a new style. I don't mind. I love maps. We all love maps, and we want them. So let's open this book up and see what we got. 4 chapters. Chapter 1 is all about the Burning Sands, the people who live out there, and the Unicorn Clan. The second chapter has the Fox Clan. It has new schools, advantages, all of your crunchy rule stuff. The third chapter has things for the game master to help them flesh out the world, make the world feel more real, have more options to use as a game master, including honor and glory and titles and just new rules for game masters. And the last one is an adventure called The Lost Rider, and it focuses on the city of the Rich Frog. And you all know I love City of Rich Frog. I'm a frog guy. I love them. I love the Karu. Let's go. So as always, every chapter is going to start out with a little story. The stories are pretty much the same as in all of the other books. They're all right. They're not bad. I should just say that there's a ton of different artists for this book, and there is a bunch of different writers too. So a lot of different people went into making this book. So first, it's going to talk about the Sand Road. The Sand Road is like the Silk Road was in real life. It is a road that goes through a desert area where there are oases on the way. So the original Silk Road went through the Gobi Desert and on into the Middle East, and was the biggest trade road in the ancient world that connected Europe, the Middle East, and Eastern Asia. It's basically going to talk about what is here on that road. Like I said, if you have any questions about specifics, please let me know. Most of the things here is stuff that you're kind of going to expect. Like, there's a road, there's bandits, there's monsters, but there are also outposts, and the unicorn actually own the Sand Road. They protect the Sand Road. It's their road, actually. But there are these clans that live out in the desert areas on these steppes called the Ujik. And these people have been talked about in other books, especially Path of Waves. So in Path of Waves, they talk about a lot of the people outside of Rokugan, but not as in-depth as they do here. So here, they're going to talk about some specific tribes of the Ujik, and it doesn't sound like the tribes are all that different from each other, except that they're kind of separate, but they all come together in one big area called the Cave of Knights. And the Cave of Knights is this huge underground obsidian tunnel that's nice and cool and protects them from the world outside, and they have big conclaves there. They also go into their religion of the 10 Lords of Death and talks about each one of the Lords of Death and what they do, what their how to worship them a little bit, and how to why they're important, why these gods are important to the Ujik clans. By the way, the Moto were once a tribe of the Ujik. So this is the only city that they're going to be really breaking down in this book. This is Kanbalak. Kanbalak is like a giant walled city, but mostly made of tents. Like, there's tents outside, there are buildings inside. If you are a outsider, you cannot be within the walls after dark. They will consider you a spy and kill you. But if you're an outsider to Rokugan, you can be on the outside of the walls, and that's not considered Rokugan. So they had, like, cartographers come in and go, well, this is the actual, like, this is where Rokugan ends and foreign lands begin. So that is exactly where the city lies, half and half on and off of it. So they can get around trade regulations and all of that kind of stuff, because foreigners are not allowed in Rokugan. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. They go really in-depth in Kambalok, talking about all of these different places that are inside the walls and outside the walls. Kamaris temples, horse markets. Like, they really go hard. The only thing we don't have is a freaking map. And you'll find this a lot. There's no map of the Burning Sands. There's no map of Kanbalak. There's no map of the City of the Rich Frog. All we get is a map of Unicorn Lands itself. And that can be a little frustrating. But they do go into as much detail as possible, trying to make sure that you get a nice visualization of what this is, what these lands look like. Yeah. Actually, they have like an adventure seed, the Dark Horse, but I always thought like a better adventure seed would be like a kid or somebody is trapped inside of Kanbalak after dark, and you as the PCs have to keep them safe throughout the night and not get caught by sunup. But there are people out there that are trying to make sure that this person dies. It's like a conspiracy to like murder this person. Yeah. We're trying to get the city to murder this person by setting up events to keep them trapped there overnight. What an interesting plot that would be. But okay. So here is the Ganzu of the Hidden Valley. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Ganzu? They are technically a tribe of the Ujik, but they just live in this one oasis that is one of the like key point oases, and they protect that one spot. And that's pretty much what they are. You only get one page of them. They're all right. There's a lot to fill in the blanks here with. We get a lot more detail into the. Oh, I'm sorry, Sheriff Lynn. Looking at past editions and info today, is there a way an artist could construct a possible unofficial map for the Burning Sands that would make sense? Yeah, I think so. I think if you're dedicated enough with all of the details they lay out here, I'm pretty sure somebody could come up with something that looks passable. I mean, because you have Crablands, Shadowlands, Ivory Kingdoms, and then you have the Unicorn Lands, the Sand Road up here that kind of goes around it, the huge like Gobi Desert kind of thing that comes around the Ivory Kingdoms. Because I think the Caliphate is north of the Ivory Kingdoms. The Ivory Kingdoms, like I think the Shadowlands moves up here, Ivory Kingdoms, and the Caliphate is over here. I probably look like an idiot. So here we're going to go a lot more in depth into the Kamarism Caliphate. The Caliphate was, again, in Path of Waves, but it goes into way more detail here, including specific traditions that they have. They talk about polytheism and monotheism. Of course, Kamarists seem to be Kamarism seems to be inspired by both parts Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. The history of it is in Path of Waves, but it's also, again, here that this land was once like an ancient Egypt with pharaohs that summoned powerful jinn that they binded with name magic. And the unicorn came in and freed the people of the tyrant rule of the pharaohs. Because apparently the pharaohs were like, Shinjo, that lady's pretty awesome. Let's capture her and like make her a slave. And then we have like a god slave. That'd be awesome. And the unicorn were like, no, we ain't having that. And they broke the old Pharisees, and what rose up in its place is the Kamari Caliphate. And Kamarism has its own like prophet. It's like the nameless prophet because no one wants to name them because then name magic people could maybe bind them or something. Uh, they talk about a people called what are they called? No, 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 no. There's a specific people, the Sogdans. The Sogdans have they call the Sogdans a city-state people, and they're constantly warring with each other. And the reason they are is because they tried to build the Tower of Babel. They built a tower that would reach to the heavens, and the god or gods were really mad about that and struck them down and made them all fight with each other. And now they can't help but fight each other because that is their curse because they tried to build this tower. Are they Greeks? Does this sound like a Greek nation? Kind of, maybe? I don't know. But I'm really curious about that because I really like Greek people. I want to see what L5R would do with that kind of thing. There is a cursed sea and a drowned god. So in the Kamarist religion, there is an ultimate evil god. He is the drowned god, and it's where all monsters come from. So dragons and demons and stuff come from him in this in their lands. So let's talk about the Unicorn Clan. They don't have much new here for the Unicorn. If you played in past editions, of Legend of the Five Rings, they have not changed much. You can just go ahead and play them out as usual, as you know and love them. Which, I mean, for me, that's a bad thing. I'd rather there be some new stuff, some new things to really sink my teeth into. But I understand if, for fans, like the fan base, if you change any of the clans for the fan base, they will revolt. Fans like things as static as possible. Don't give this character a new suit. Don't give I don't want to talk about it. Just know that I think change is superior to being the same all the time. But what did they change? So they say that these are the children of the five winds because when they got to the Pharisee and they destroyed it, they broke up into 5 different groups that traveled all across Rokugan. And they didn't just travel. Sometimes they put down roots and stayed there for a while. There might be ruined unicorn cities that were abandoned long ago out there in the world. Like, that it just might be out there, yeah. There might be unicorn cities that other people have come into and made their own city. So if you have a game where suddenly your samurai, for whatever reason, are thousands and thousands of miles away from Rokugan, there might be a pagoda in the middle of the city. An ancient people made these and then they left the city. Something like that. There might be a statue of Shinjo. You never know. It's something to think about if you're ever like running a game and there's like maybe a wormhole and they're in someplace else, or they walked through one of like the dream realms and now they're in, Sodon's area, or Sogon. They redid all of the mons, and unlike other books, so some books don't have the family mons. Some books do have the family mons, but they don't have like this. This is new, and this is cool. I like this. They got a wall scroll with the mon, and it kind of tells you what it looks like. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Good job. Also, for each one of the families, they tell you what horde they belong to. The five winds are also called hordes, and they correspond to colors. So you have blue, um, purple. Purple are the Utaku. But green for Yuchi, and gold for the Ide family. Yes. And white for the Moto. And so those are the five different hordes, the five winds of the unicorn. So let's talk about some of the different things that are kind of new here. Just refreshing my memory on some of these things. Oh, Unicorn Clan Cuisine. They talk about what the unicorn eat, how it differs from what other people in Rokugan eat, and how they square the circle on what is good for like the Shinsein religion, because you're supposed to only eat fish or whatever. Like, the rules on food in Rokugan are bunk, I think. But it's good that they put that there, because what we definitely need more small details that tell us what life is like in these areas, what they eat, what traditions they have. Those kinds of things are super, super important, because we didn't live back then. I mean, I'm a white guy. I don't know a lot about this stuff, and the more kind of interesting details like that the book has, the more this world feels real. They talk about, with the Utaku, they talk about their matriarchal tradition, who is able to lead and who is even able to ride a horse. And I thought this would be one of the places that they would change. They'd make it more equal. They'd be like, yeah, while traditionally there'd be women in charge, this time they now let men because of equality. No, 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 no. None of that. They're pretty strong and adamant. Only women are in charge of the Utaku family, uh, and only women can ride horses into battle. So men do ride horses, but once they get into battle, they must dismount before fighting. That's weird, but okay. I like Utaku Spearman. I think that was a really cool card back in the day. Yeah, I really love those mods. I know. It's pretty great. I think Edge is only contracted for a Scorpion book now. I ask because it's interesting to see a book that expands worldwide. Not not to say allowing for non-Rokugani, but it adds extra to NPCs. Well, I don't know what Edge is contracted for. I have no idea. Whatever they put out, I try and review as is, as what the product actually is. And if I look at, like, for example, if I would say, hey, this is the last book from Edge, the Scorpion book, it kind of takes away from the game as a whole. It feels like it's ending. It feels like, what's the point of reviewing this book if something's just going to end, if it's just like over? And I get that. I feel that, like, when an edition ends, or when I know a new edition is coming out and they come out with a new book for the old edition, it I'm not as excited for it. I want the new thing, or um I feel like an unsupported game, or a game that's going to be unsupported, uh I want to move on from. If the company or the people making it don't have the wherewithal to want to continue to make it, I don't want to be part of that game either, if that makes any sense. That said, Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking in the wrong way. Maybe I should be like, oh, if a game ends, then it's mine and all mine. I'm the fan base and I can create what I want until their lawyers come for me. Mm. But where was I? Yes, the Utaku. Um, Women can only ride horses in battle. Men can't ride horses into battle. They can ride horses, but they have to get off their horses when they fight. Weird. Um, they still have NPCs that how do I say this? In all of the books, each family, at the end of each description of a family, they have an NPC that kind of embodies that family, that the idea of that family. And sometimes it does embody it, and sometimes it kind of goes against it to show how it goes for it, like that kind of thing. I have never used any of these NPCs. Have you? Have any of you used any of the NPCs that are like connected to this beginning section? I think the only one I've ever used is from the Shadowlands book, and they were all Oni that I used to fight the PCs in the Adventure Mask of the Oni. But other than that, when they're like Utaku Asagao, that's what it is. Utaku Asagao. Um, I I probably would never use this, which is weird. You think I should? um, they go way more for the Yuchi, which is love. I love these. For the Yuchi, they go way into the art of Mishido, and they get way deeper into it later on in the book. But they talk about where the Mishido comes from. They actually come from the uh, phoretic magic of binding people using names, but instead of forcing the spirits into an object to bind them into them, they just kind of make friends with them and then ask them, hey, you want to live in this object? And then there's the Doom Hunter. And I don't know if Doom Hunter is in any of the books. I don't remember this. But a Doom Hunter is a single individual that's part of the Yuchi family that goes and breaks curses. If you're cursed, go see the Doom Hunter. And the Doom Hunter is one individual because as a Doom Hunter, in breaking curses and fiddling with curses, you might get cursed yourself. And when a Doom Hunter dies, a new person comes up and becomes a Doom Hunter. Which seems like, I don't know, like, is that what you want to do with your life? Hey, the Doom Hunter dies. Who's the new Doom Hunter? You are. No. But they do have a Doom Hunter title in the back of the book if anybody wants to play that. They don't say who the Doom Hunter is in any of these books, the current Doom Hunter. They just say that it is a title that exists and that person is a singular individual. We're going to move on through the unicorn, and we're going to start talking about the Fox Clan. Here again, they have not changed much of anything surrounding the Fox Clan. The old lore still fits this new lore. One interesting thing here is they left out the Fox Clan Mon. It is not on any of these pages. You will not find a Fox Clan Mon anywhere, which is disappointing. But, I mean, none of the other books have minor clan Mons as well. So this is just in keeping with everything else we've had. They talk about the one castle that's in Foxlands, which is in the woods. They talk about how they were once unicorn. One of the differences here, though, is instead of the lion coming in and kind of let me start that over again. Instead of the Fox clan like taking over Unicorn Land and being the stewards of it, while the other, like the Kirin, are off doing their exploring, and some of the Kirin clan stayed behind and later became the Fox clan. But before they became the Fox clan, they were still just like the Kirin remnants. And what happened in the old lore is that the lion came in and kind of bullied them out of their the lion came in and bullied them out of their lands with constant wars. But here it said that the Yodatai, some Yodatai clans, some Ujik clans, outsiders came in and tried to claim the land, and the lion had to come in and rescue the Kirin remnants. And because of that, the Kirin remnants had to be relocated to another place. The emperor was like, okay, we're just going to give this to a major clan that can actually protect these lands. The lion are going to be the stewards of it, and you guys are going to have new lands here, and you're now the Fox clan. I give you the title of Fox clan. They do not talk about Foxwives. Previously, in other editions of Legends of Five Rings, they talk about how the Fox clan would gift other clans with Foxwives. Here, that's not a thing. They do have a pact with the Fox. Or a pact. They do have otherworldly pacts with spirits, Fox spirits specifically, that help them manage their, I guess, haunted wood or spirit wood, because the spirit wood is on the edge of Senkyo, which is the two lands of animals. So they are very much tied to animal spirits, which is cool. The realm of Senkyo. By the way, what's your favorite realm? Do you like Senkyo? I like Sakaku and Chikashudo. I love those realms. I think they're great. In fact, if you watch my actual play, Shadow Empire, in the little hole under the tree, it's actually a portal to Senkyo, and you can get to either Chikashudo or Sakaku. I feel like the Kappa come from Sakaku. I think that's the two realms, right? It is. Senkyo is divided up in two overlapping realms: Chikashudo, the realm of animal spirits, and Sakaku, the realm of tricksters. Yeah, I got it. I know my lore. Doom Hunter sounds like some cool potential plot hooks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely. 100%. So let's talk about some crunchy stuff. Let's get into the rules. This is what everybody wants to know, right? What are the new schools? What are the abilities you can get? What's broken? What's not? Let's go. First off, the Fox gives you earth and survival. Kitsune family gives you air and water, fitness, and theology. That's fine. Whatever. New schools. I don't know if y'all are going to revolt on this. In every other book, there have been a plethora of schools for every single clan. This is now an exception. There are only schools in this book for Burning Sands, for Burning Sands people, for Unicorn Clan people, and Fox Clan, and that's it. You're not going to find any Asako Wanderers or Scorpion Infiltrate. Nothing. It's just going to be Unicorn, Burning Sands, and Fox Clan. So, I don't know, like, if that's going to be a selling point for this book. The reason they put all clans in these books is so that these books sell to everybody, no matter what clan you like. And changing that might not be the best idea. But let's go. I'll show you what's in here. So like I said, the Ganzu are the people who guard a specific valley on the Sand Road. Their school is a Bushi school, and it's just the Guardian, their Guardian school. I believe they use axes. And once per scene after you defend against damage, you may roll a number of skill dice equal to the fatigue you received. Choose a number of the dice equal to your school rank and reserve them. Until the end of your scene, when you perform an attack action, after choosing kept dice, you may add one dice you reserved this way as an additional kept dice. You'll find more techniques like that using other kinds of things. You get to roll a number of dice, keep them in reserve, and add them in during a scene. Their mastery ability: when you use your school ability to add kept dice to a check, you may add a number of reserve dice up to your ranks in fitness. So you can add a whole bunch of dice to one attack. Really great mastery ability. And a fairly good school ability. I wouldn't be mad about that school ability at all. The only thing, I think it's not a specialized ability. It's a little generic, but it's something that you'd look at and go, wow, that's just mechanically good. But I wish there was more like story to this ability. Ide Emissary School, Yuchi Horse Lord Disciple. So, Emissary School, when you perform a support action, you may spend an opportunity to choose one character in a scene with vigilance lower than your school rank, plus the opportunity spent this way. You treat the character's focus and vigilance each as one lower until the end of the scene. I love abilities that treat vigilance lower because a lot of TNs, a lot of techniques work on other people's vigilance and focus as a TN. And allowing you to reduce that just makes sense as an ability. But reducing it more than one, that's the sketchy part, because TNs are so low in Legend of the Five Rings. Mastery ability: once per scene as a support action, you may make a Culture 3 Fire Water check, targeting any number of characters in the scene. If you succeed and choose fire, each character gains the Emboldened condition. The Emboldened condition is fire. Let me go, and I'll have to go forward and show you the Emboldened condition. You'll be like, that's like cheating. When a character makes a check, they may remove one fatigue, or they may receive one fatigue to keep an additional roll die. So basically, while you're emboldened, you may take a fatigue to roll an additional die. And no, you don't roll one. You just keep an additional die. That's what it is. Sorry, guys. Let me try that again. When a character makes a check, they may receive one fatigue to keep an additional rolled die. So you roll your die and you get +1 kept dice, not rolled dice. But still, I mean, that's amazing. great. And it's a condition. So you become emboldened. How do you become emboldened? By filling yourself with courage and pushing yourself beyond the normal limits. The Yuchi, as their, I'm sorry, not the Yuchi, the Ide, as their mastery ability, gives you the emboldened condition. Are there other ways to get the emboldened condition? I mean, if you have a really cool scene and like a fortune comes down and blesses you and now you're emboldened, I could see that. I could see ways of getting it. You could probably give somebody the emboldened condition if like something insane happens to them in a scene. But it's really powerful. I'm curious on how popular the unicorn are as a clan because in my circle, nobody cares about them and they're often forgotten about. So, a lot of people play Legend of Five Rings because they love Japanese culture. I'm a weeb. I love samurai and uh, the art of the duel, the old Japanese samurai films like Musashi Miyamoto and all of the those classic black and white samurai movies like Seven Samurai. Um, and that's what we want when we play Legend of the Five Rings. And the unicorn are so different and so removed from that. They're like something totally different. And that's kind of why people don't gravitate towards them. Uh, they were OP in the card game, and that's what gave them a lot of fans. Is just their Calvary mechanic. But if you remove the card game from them, they're suddenly like they suddenly don't fit. Yuchi Horse Lords. When you make a check to craft, improve, or maintain an item, you may imprint it with the Horse Lord's favor, giving one of your advantages or disadvantages. If the item is a Mishoto, you may instead give the item an advantage or disadvantage from its sealed spirit. While an item with your Horse Lord favor adorns a horse or creature with the Loyal Steed ability, the horse is an otherworldly creature and possesses the chosen advantage or disadvantage. If the item is Mishoto, the horse may now perform the technique it contains. You sustain a number of items with your Horse Lord favor up to your school rank. Additionally, when you perform a medicine check to remove fatigue or a condition from a horse or other equine creature, add bonus successes equal to your school rank. You make jewelry for horses, and then they get advantages and disadvantages. This is a crazy technique, and I like it. It's so weirdly specific. I mean, I don't think it's super powerful at all, but it's really cool. Like, hey, I'm allies with the Emerald Champion. This horse is now allies with the Emerald Champion. If the Emerald Champion sees this horse, he's gonna instantly know that it's my horse and it's also his ally. What a weird thing. What a great thing. I have keen hearing. Now this horse has keen hearing. Can I help you, darling?
I was going to make pasta. Would you like some?
I would love some pasta, thank you. Their mastery ability, once per scene, you may spend one void point to target any non-Shadowlands creature of silhouette 3 or greater, giving the target the loyal steed ability. And now it can be ridden by a human-sized person until the end of the scene. When you do, you make a courtesy water or theology check with a TN equal to the target's vigilance. If you succeed on the check, the target is favorable towards you and is willing to be ridden. So, if you see a giant thing that's not Shadowlands tainted, you can now ride it. Oh, there's an untainted troll here. You're now my steed. Amatsu walked up with its lion pet. I'm going to ride your lion now. So here are our two Kitsune schools. Kitsune, as they, some people say Kitsune here in America, but it's Kitsune. We have a courtier sage school, which is the mediator school, and a Shugenja school, which is the naturalist school. The naturalist school is fire. The mediator school is okay. So after a friendly character at range 0 to 4 receives strife, you may impose the centered condition on the character. You can use this school ability a number of times per scene equal to your school rank. Friendly centered characters at range 0 to 4 from you treat their composure and endurance increased by your courtesy rank. That is their mastery ability. Very just these are fair abilities. These are not overpowered. These are not going to destroy anybody's game. These are very fair abilities, and they make sense for what these things are. Where is that centered ability? We're going to look it up because these are new. Here we go. New conditions. Centered. When the character makes a check, they may remove up to 2 strife from their roll's result. I think that's perfectly fine. It's a little less powerful than the void stance. But here, the Kitsune Naturalist School is, I mean, I don't know. You tell me, guys. When you succeed on a check to activate an invocation, if it is the first invocation of that element you have activated this scene, you may add a number of bonus successes or kept dice equal to your school rank. Is this broken? Is this like I can pretty much cast whatever I want on the first round, the first element? I'm going to get spells and invocations that are a bit out of my league otherwise because I have this nature's balance. But hey, there are other schools that are a little like as broken as this in like Celestial Realms for Shugenja. So I don't know. If you put it against those, I guess it's fine. But really, I think all of those are kind of bunk. After you resolve the effects of an invocation, if you have successfully activated at least one air invocation, one earth invocation, one fire, one water, you may have a number of characters in the scene up to your survival rank remove half their strife and half their fatigue. So, if you do one of each element, except for void, everybody gets a calming effect because you casted all of those spells. I don't think that sounds awesome. I don't think that's overpowering. In fact, I don't know why that's a mastery ability. I'd put that as like their regular ability and then make their regular ability the mastery ability. Okay. Now we're in Burning Sands, people. Yes. So we have the Sand Road Wayfarer and the Scholar of Zawira? Al Zawira tradition, yes. I am not very good at pronouncing Arabic words. Al Zawira. So, these are fine. There's nothing wrong with these. At the start of each scene, choose one of the following terrains. Each friendly creature within a number of range bands equal to your school rank, ignore the negative effects of that terrain. That's what the Sand Road Wayfarer is. You basically say, hey, move this way, and they do, and then they don't get hurt or entangled. I mean, what's interesting is that they can ignore obscuring, and obscuring terrain is pretty much the only way can be like actually hidden. So if you get rid of anything that obscures the terrain, suddenly you can see all of the ninja. Which, I don't know, that's kind of OP, but everything else is pretty standard. Like maybe if Legend of the Five Rings had some actual good stealth rules. Um, the mastery ability once per game as a support action or during a narrative scene, you may change which terrain quality your school affects. While you are in the terrain of the chosen quality for your school ability, you may add up to 2 bonus successes to each check you make. Once per game session, you can do that. That's fine. Works. It's good. Not overpowered. It's a mastery ability. You would consider mastery abilities to be really overpowered, but yeah, it's fine. Once per scene, when you make a scholar check, you may reserve a number of dropped dice up to your school rank. Until the end of the scene, when you make a non scholar skill check, after choosing dice, you may add up to one of these reserve dice as a kept die. So basically, just like the earlier technique I was talking about, when you make a scholar check, you can take out some of those dice, set them to the side. Which is interesting because when you make a skill check, you want to keep all of your good dice and then get rid of your drop dice. But here you want to keep those drop. You see where the problem is with this? So here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's say I'm doing a scholar check. Let's say I'm doing a culture check, right? Oh no, who are those people coming over the horizon? I'm doing a culture check to find out. I have 3 skill and 3 ring. And I roll my dice and I'm like, well, I want to keep the best dice so I know who they are, right? And I'm going to drop these dice. So I can keep drop dice over here. So this was a pretty good roll. I'm reserving two really good dice. But now it's like maybe I don't want to actually know who these. Maybe I'm going to reserve these best dice and flub the roll if I need to do that, to just reserve good dice, because now I can use these dice on any non scholar skill roll, which includes, I don't know, what if I already know those guys coming over the hill are going to attack us? Now I can reserve these dice, these exploders, for really good attacks. It seems like people are going to make up excuses to use a scholar roll in places where you might not use a scholar roll, but I don't think it's that broken of a school ability. I think it makes people think outside the box to use their scholar abilities in new ways. So I'm not mad at this. I like this. The mastery ability, once per game session when making a non-scholar skill check, instead of rolling a number of dice equal to your ranks in the skill used on the check, you may roll a number of skill equal to one of your scholar skills, replacing one of your non-scholar skills with a scholar skill. That's an awesome mastery ability. And it makes sense for a mastery ability for someone who is a scholar. I think this is great. I think it has a lot of flavor to it. What do we got here? The Shinjo Mounted Archer is a Bushi Artisan, and the Utaku Silent Shadow Yojimbo is a Bushi Courtier. We're back to unicorns. The Mounted Archer ability, when you spend a void to seize the moment during a check using a bow, you may negate strife symbols up to your school rank. If you succeed, gain bonus successes equal to the number of strife symbols you negated. So I remember reading this and going, what is seize the moment? Because seize the moment is not a technique, is it? When I read this the first time, I was like, is this because it's not a skirmish action. No, I don't remember if it's not. And I was like, what is seize the moment? Is it a technique? We're going to go over to kata. No, it's not. So this is what I saw this and I'm confused by it. Can somebody tell me what seize the moment is? I'd be very grateful if you can tell me what that is because I have no idea. Because, yeah, it's not in here either. I'd remember because I read everything. And this one, like, I don't know what it does. When you spend a void... Oh, it's one of the void things you can do. Duh. Duh. Here it is. Spending a void point to seize the moment. A samurai should know the right moment to act. Basically, this is when you spend a void to gain a extra rolled and kept skill dice. So spending a void to basically make your roll better is seize the moment. And when you do that, you negate symbols of strife up to your school rank, and then you gain bonus successes equal to that. That's awesome. I think that's a pretty cool technique, actually. And then additionally, when riding your steed, all of your martial arts range and performance skills have unskilled assistance. Both of those are fire and should be fine for technique, but together, that's crazy and makes Shinjo mounted archers a really, really strong addition in this game. Yeah, thanks, Johnny. Allows character to gain extra ring die. Yep, when they spend a void. That's right. You got it. Let's see if I missed anything on this. Shugenja are really powerful overall. Yeah. Top 3. I think the Kitsune Shugenja is probably in the top 3. Yes. Yeah, this Shinjo mounted archer is really powerful. And then it attacks from range on a horse all the time. That's wow. When you are riding your steed, all of your martial arts range and performance skills have unskilled assistance. I assume that you're getting that from your horse. Like, your horse is giving you the unskilled assistance. That's really tough. That's really a really great one. But hey, there's a lot of times you're not on your horse. So yeah, I guess it's probably okay. I think it's a strong technique and it's one people will want to have. I think this is going to be a popular school. Um but I think it's more limited than I think it is. Mastery ability. Any steed you ride gains +4 endurance, +2 composure, +1 vigilance, and the resplendent item quality. You, when you spend one or more void points during a martial arts range or performance check, an item you have equipped gains the sacred and hewing item qualities, and you add a number of kept ring dice set to opportunity result equal to your void ring. These are horse gods. That's all. We've made you're the god of horses now. Yeah. Shinjo are now the masters of mounted archery. We're just gonna say that. Let's talk about the Utaku Silent Shadow Yojimbo, which is a bushi and a courtier. Why is it called Silent Shadow? You ever see those servants that kind of aren't there? They're not supposed to be seen. I think that's what they're trying to be in this, especially since otaku are known for not talking. Their original, like the founder of that family, took a vow of silence, and many of the otaku family uphold that vow of silence, though it is not a condition that is enforced. When you make a check to perform a guard action, you gain a bonus success, or if your target is mounted on a steed. What? When you make a check to perform a guard action, you gain bonus successes if you or your target is mounted on a steed. Okay. Additionally, when you succeed on a check to perform a guard action, you may spend opportunity like this. Give a target at range 0 to 3 the emboldened condition. You can spend a maximum number of opportunity this way equal to your school rank. This is pretty great. I don't know how many bonus successes you get, though. How many bonus successes do you get? When you make a check to perform a guard action, you gain a bonus success if you or your target is mounted on a seat. So you just get one. This is fine. This is really fine. This works. You made a good technique there this time, Edge Studios. You may use the guard action during intrigue. When you do, increase the TN of a scheme action checks against the guarded by 1 plus an additional 1 per 2 bonus successes. So if you are a master, you can guard against scheme actions as well during intrigues. I don't see why that can't just be a regular ability too. Like, that just makes sense. You're a guarder in intrigue scenes. But hey, I love it. All looks good. Last school, the Ujik Nomad Tradition is a Bushi school. When you make a movement action or check, or make a check to travel at speed and narrative time, if you succeed, you may suffer up to 2 fatigue to add that many bonus successes. You can travel faster. After you remove fatigue at the end of the scene, you may remove an additional fatigue up to your school rank. Lovely. When your fatigue is halved, you get more than half. That sounds awesome. And not broken at all. It sounds good. Legendary ability. Increase your endurance by your ranks in survival. While you are riding a mount, increase the endurance of that mount by your ranks in survival. That makes sense, is narratively good. Everything about this is perfect. Love it. Yeah, Shinjo Mounted Archer seems badass. I like it. The GM can limit it whenever they want. They can. Exactly. Sorry. Now you have to get off your horse because the thicket is too much, and you have to lead the horse through it, or the it is too scrunched in, or it's too. There's all sorts of reasons to get a person off of their horse, and you can probably figure it out as a game master if you need to limit it in any way. It's fine. Okay. New advantages and disadvantages. There's nothing too out of sorts here. Everything looks good. The distinctions you can get an affinity with an animal. If you have affinity with a specific kind of animal, you have to pick an animal type. But now you get the reroll ability when interacting with that animal. And your role play advantage that it has is just like the animal likes you more in role play too. So yeah, so like Wolverine has an affinity with wolves in the comics, and this would probably be his advantage. Legal scholarship, yeah, this is for those Kamaris scholars, but you can use it for Rokugani law as well. And yeah, it works in government checks, so you can check on that, but it also works in some commerce checks, so you can do law in that too. This is a really great advantage for those who want to play those types of characters. Syncretic philosophy. This is like more cosmopolitan. You know many cultures and philosophies around the world. You can understand a nuance of somebody's moral standing. This can help actually too when like you have spirits or different kinds of creatures like Zokujin or stuff, and you have this advantage. You can be like, can I figure out what's good or bad when talking with these people? What? How would trolls feel if I don't know ate a chicken leg in front of them? Specific passions: horse racing, cool. Hot pot, lovely. I love hot pots. I would reduce my strife if I had a hot pot in front of me right now. And stargazing. Stargazing is like, oh, cool. It's nighttime. Let's get rid of 3 strife. Of course, as a game master, at any time you can be like, it's cloudy out today. It's raining out. But yeah, just like, I look at the stars at night. There goes my strife. Not all passions are equal. Some passions are so hard to fulfill, while others are so easy to fulfill. Specific adversities: lost family history. Um, so you're going to have problems with your culture checks because you don't have that kind of family history. You don't have the historical records or anything like that. I think this would be really good for like a peasant or a Ronin, but it could be that everybody knows that you're this type of person. You're like, oh, I am an Asahina, um, but we can't no longer prove it. But like, oh, Haruma might be great for lost family history in that way. But like, hey, there was a fire and my records were lost, but everybody knows I'm an Asahina. And you're building that up again, and maybe it can even be like a plot hook. Penalty. You have a fine or you have a warrant out for your arrest. That's what that means. Um, Schism in status. So basically, you pick a group and you have a lower status with that group. So, like, I don't know. So your status is like 20 points lower. So maybe, like, you were part of a clan and then they disowned you and you became a Ronin and then you swore to another family. And so that original family you're from might still treat you like a freaking Ronin or a peasant because they disowned you. That could be a schism in status. So anxiety, animal signs. So basically, you are superstitious against animals. You see a spider and you know you're going to have bad luck all day. Animal signs. Disdain for urban sprawl. I think I have this anxiety. Why are we making another subdivision? Just build some good urban planning people. No, we're not going to talk about that. Basically, this is just basically disdain for cities. I love cities personally, but here you don't like dense urban areas. Villages are fine, But if you see like a big city built around a castle and there's lots of restaurants, and you're like, this is bad. This is bad news. So um, it's not what you think it is. It's basically just disdain for urban centers, not sprawl, but highly dense urban centers. Um, Tip of the tongue. This is an anxiety. You are you know more than one language, perhaps several, but you start using words from other languages in your language, right? So this hurts you when you're trying to make communication checks, apparently. When you're doing courtesy, when you're doing theology, it can hurt. You'll receive strife because you can't do the metaphors that you want. You might have an accent, those types of things. Here is your unicorn ancestry's heritage that you can roll. New gear and items. Fire lance is interesting. The Ganzu use these. They are lances with explosive at the end that explode. Interesting. Can't use them in Rokugan, but they're here. The Ganzu have their ring axe. I would also like the Centipede clan use big axes, and I probably use that for their axe too. But you also have regular charging lances, uh, the punch daggers, new bows, repeating crossbows, saddle cutters, and they're pretty. They're all really great weapons. There's nothing here that's out of sorts or it's going to be overpowering. There's nothing that has like a deadliness 8 or a damage 8. Yeah. Uh, Interesting thing though is they have new shield options, and the one I like the best is the Ide parasol shield. So it's just a parasol. It's like what you see in like Ranma one half when they're fighting with like umbrellas and stuff. Like yes, 100%. I love it. I love it. New personal effects. There's a couple here I want to point out. First off, the Haro Arrow Cloak. This is a big billowy cloak that catches arrows, so when you're riding, you don't get shot down. Of course, my Shasura infiltrator is out at night all the time. They are stargazing. Stargazing, my new favorite passion, easy peasy. Yeah, yeah. Nice setup. Jealous of your studio. Thanks, Tarek. Um, I got this buddy right here. I would like to do miniature painting if anybody's interested in that. I mean, give me a thumbs up or say miniatures if you want me to do some miniature painting live. I don't know. It seems like a fun time. We'll even like set up uh, polls on what you want to see me paint for miniature. You know what? Let me show you. There we go. This is my old Clan War mini. I have two old Clan War minis. This is a Phoenix guy. I have a Dragon guy, and I'd love to paint them on stream for you. So if you want to see that, Lantern, personal. This is a long time coming. Why weren't these here before? So, Metal lanterns clipped to belts and stuff aren't a thing in Rokugan, but they do have paper lanterns, and they have a stick that they hold the paper lantern on over their shoulder, like this, and they hold it, and and that's how they use lanterns. And it takes up a hand, sure, but like yes, these are things that people have to give themselves light, and then they can take the stick and poke it out there and put the lantern in areas so they can see. Why wasn't this the thing before? I guess they just assumed. But it's here. They have money associated with it, so you can like, hey, it costs 1 boo. There it is. 1 boo, rarity 2. Yes, of course. Most Rokugani personal lanterns use a candle. This one uses mineral lamp oil. Excellent. Armor. Yes. Mirror armor is physical 3. Unicorn barding, physical 2. This is, of course, unicorn barding is for horses. Mirror armor is a special type of riding armor. Mirror armor consists of 4 round metal discs that are buffed and polished to a mirror shine, and then integrated into a tunic made of overlapping metal and leather scales. This is like non-traditional for Japan. This is like this armor, I believe, comes from Mongolian China, and that's where mirror armor gets its like real world heritage from. So we have some blessed treasures, and like all blessed treasures, they are not useful for PCs unless gifted to them. The Talisman of the Sun, the Ancestral Armor of the Unicorn Clan, the Ancestral Sword of the Fox Clan. All 3 of these things are special unique items that you'd think like the clan champion would have or whatnot. Do you use blessed treasures? Do you give them to your PCs at any point in time? How does that work out for you? I always wondered. But there is one item here that you can give to PCs. This is just a regular magical item. I think they should have more like these that are just like, they're rare, but they're not unheard of, and your PC could get them and use them and not be like, why do you have like this unique, special, sacred treasure? So a fox pipe is basically a spiritual peace pipe, right? There are ethereal spirits living within the smoking pipes, and they have little like fox carvings on it. And when you smoke it, an ethereal fox rises out of it like a smoke fox, and it does the bidding of the smoker. So you can spy on things unnoticed and report back what it's heard. Yeah, it's fun. Folk tales abound of lost fox pipes eventually making their way to market shops. Like, there needs to be more stuff like this that like regular people can get. New rules on how to create Mishoto talismans. They now have a rule for stability, and every time you use it, you can basically degrade a Mishoto. And then once it reaches 0 stability, it's destroyed and it can't be used again. The spirit inside is unleashed. Some new item patterns. They're fine. I mean, if you use item patterns, there's nothing too insane here. Like, watered steel pattern is basically Damascus steel, and it gives +1 deadliness. And razored edge weapons gain the hewing item quality, which is actually in page 116. Let's show you the hewing item quality here real quick so you know exactly what it does. Hewing, the weapon, is specifically designed to bypass or break through shields and armor, and basically it can, with opportunity, ignore physical resistance and ignore TN bonuses from the opponent's shield. Just keep it warm for me. I'm almost done here. Kata. Okay, now we're getting into techniques. Cozy streams for the win. Yeah, you like miniatures? Okay. Maybe I'll do something. Maybe I'll do a miniature stream this week and we'll see how it works. We'll see how it goes. See how many people we get. Okay. We have some general kata and some close combat kata. The close combat kata are almost exclusively for axes. And in other books, they've like honed in on one type of weapon. I believe the only other time it was done was for like pole arms, but I really like that they make a couple kata for specific weapons, and it makes those weapons more usable and more like tempting for somebody to become like that kind of a weapon master. And here we got some for axes. But first, let's talk about cautious tread. Um, Basically, it allows your mount to ignore terrain qualities. Fine. Leopard style. Um, Basically, if you can disorient your target or make them prone, you can then spend 2 opportunity on your next attack to increase the deadliness by your survival. Hard to do, but especially with like 2 opportunity, like it's hard to do. It's fine. Um, like these these kata that need setup from other kata, like it's kind of interesting to me. Like how many other kata give the disorienting or prone condition, and most of those is like the target will either take this amount of damage or be prone or be dazed, something like that. That's usually how techniques work. So it's an interesting, like, how are you going to set up leopard style to make it pay off? Because yeah, okay, sudden downpour style. 2 opportunity again. Your target makes a check to resist an effect this of this attack action. Increase the TN of that check by your mount's water ring. So basically, like, if you have one of those, I disarm you, now you have to make a check to resist. You can spend 2 opportunity to really increase the TN if you're on horseback. And swaying grass evasion. Okay. Swaying grass evasion. Increase the TN of martial arts range checks targeting you by half the amount of fatigue you receive this way rounded up. This effect persists until your next turn. Basically, this is really cool because it does it reduce damage or just fatigue? Increase the TN of the martial arts range check targeting you by half the amount of fatigue you receive this way. If you are in dangerous, entangling, or obscuring terrain, basically interesting terrain, you receive a number of fatigue equal to your ranks in survival to duck uh, and avoid incoming range attacks. Okay. Gain fatigue. Increase the TN to hit you. Like I said, in this game, if you get any more than 1 or 2 increases to your TN, you are like golden. So if you receive 3 fatigue and increase the TN of the range attack by 3, I think you're pretty much not ever going to get hit. I think it's pretty nice for rank 3. I would love this, yeah. Yeah, and you have to be inside of dangerous, entangling, obscuring terrain. So this is fair. I like this. Yeah. So distracting flurry style. If you are in dangerous, entangling, or obscuring terrain, if you fail your check, your target still suffers the disorienting condition with an opportunity. Here we go. Scoring win style. If you are wielding a non-razored edge weapon in two hands, you can, if you succeed on the attack, instead of dealing damage, choose one defensive item, and it receives the damage quality or becomes destroyed. If you're wielding an axe, hold on. Yeah, choose one defensive item your target is using, like a readied shield or their armor, and it receives the damage quality or is destroyed. If you're wielding an axe, in addition to dealing damage, not instead, in addition, you also do the damage to the. So basically, you're chopping through their shields and armor. It's rank 3. I think it's fine. I like it. Tell me, do you think that's overpowered? Because it takes 2 opportunity to use, first off. So you're not going to be able to do it every round. I think it's good. I think it works well. Here's another one with an axe. Opportunity. If you succeed and your target is a minion, they suffer additional damage equal to the deadliness. I love it. It's rank 2 and it makes you go through minions. I have no problem with any technique like that. If you fail and your target's rank is meditation are less than equal to the opportunity spent in this way, your target receives strife equal to the deadliness of your weapon. That's such an interesting way to use a rule. The target's meditation, which is going to be their meditation is a. What kind of skill is meditation? It's not. Is it a scholar skill? It's either scholar or martial. Artisan, scholar. Yeah, it's a martial skill. Meditation is a martial skill. So basically, it's saying because unless you're using this against a PC, it's going to be a martial skill. So either one opportunity only works against the minion. If you fail, you can use it against anyone and just start keeping opportunity. Keep all the opportunity you can and make them receive strife. You gotta have an axe in your hand, though. So, 2 range kata. This first one allows you to basically pin and target down and make it easier for other people to hit that target. They get a bonus success. And this one, Thunderbolt style, choose another target with vigilance lower than your ranks in fitness plus opportunity spent this way. That character suffers damage equal to your weapon's base damage. So basically, you can hit 2 targets at once with this. And you can activate this opportunity many times, choosing different characters to affect each time. The thing is here's the thing. Vigilance lower in your fitness ranks, right? Vigilance is 2 or 3. 4 is very rare for vigilance. So all you need is a fitness of 3, and if you hit one person, right, all the other characters within range 0 to 1, all of them, if their vigilance is 2 or lower, they're all taking damage. If you have a fitness of 4, 3 or lower, they're all taking damage, which is most characters have a vigilance of 3. So basically, this is going to get a ton of people. You're going to just, you're shooting out arrows and getting all of them. It doesn't take any more. It doesn't take any more ammunition though. So one arrow is everybody's gonna scatter from one arrow. But it's a rank 4 technique. So at that rank, at that high level, I think this is fine. I like it. We got some new rituals: center the world, cultural exchange. Center the world allows you to understand new cultures. Cultural exchange is about, again, learning about another culture, even if you can't communicate. So center the world basically allows you to learn about who is in this land, and like it's hard to differentiate these. So center of the world is more about the land, like who lives there, what are the resources there, what are the technologies there. Culture exchange is more about the people. What kind of languages do they speak? What do they worship? Those types of things. Protection of the flock is a ritual that allows you to help them, I don't know, resist diseases and stuff like that. Shadow of Days allows you to go, oh, this is how many days we have left for traveling. Yeah, Shinjo Horch Archer is going to love that rank 4 is right. For Thunderbolt style, yeah. Lots of synergy there. Spiritual Survey, again, is about the land, but this time it's going to talk about, like, what type of terrain qualities are going to be in the area, what kind of elemental affinities are here, that kind of thing. Traveler's Experience. Here you can understand laws and stuff so you don't get in trouble. Wayfinder's Instinct is knowing where the water and food is. So yeah, all of these rituals are about traveling. All of them. Now let's talk about Shuji. I'm going to have some problems here. I read these and was like, one of them I'm probably going to ban. I'm probably going to ban one of these Shujis. Let me show you what this first one does. Cunning Omission. A scheme action. The TN is equal to the target's focus. And you're like, wow, that's high, right? Minus their current strife to a minimum of 1. The effect. Your target slips up and emits something they were concealing from you. If your target was not concealing anything from you, now you know this fact with certainty. You can also spend 2 opportunity to give them +2 strife per 2 opportunities spent this way. Your target slips up and emits something they were concealing from you. Just kind of let that wash over you for a second if you're a game master. Right? My actual play game is Shadow Empire, and it's all about conspiracy. And people have their own plans. They have their own, like, agendas. It is like a dramatic intrigue. The entire game is. This rank 3 Shuji would destroy that campaign. people would be like, I think this character's suspicious. Let's give them some strife and then use this technique, and then the game master has to tell me what they're hiding. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that this isn't a game-breaking shuji for any conspiracy game or intrigue game. I might allow this in my game just to see how it's abused, and then I'll warn people, like, you can take this to see how to use it and how to abuse it, and if it does ruin my game, I'll refund you the XP and you can get a different technique for that. But from what I can tell, this is hot garbage. Hot garbage. One of the metrics I like to use for social techniques is if I play an NPC and I use it against a PC, would they cry foul? Would they be like, what? That's unfair. I have to tell them my secret now. And they would squirm and try and get out of it anyway. They'd like try and parse words or rules lawyer their way out of it. Well, technically I did, even though I didn't. They would do that. And if you as a game master did that, when they use the technique, they'd also cry foul. Well, that's just a lie of omission, and that's not fair, and you're making my technique useless. This is bad. Extremely bad. Cunning omission is the worst thing in this book, in my opinion. The worst thing in this book. Entice with offerings. I am on the fence about this. So basically, no. Entice with offerings is the good one. There's another one down the line I'm gonna ask you about, but this one's fine. Basically, you make a scheme action, TN3 commerce, and you give them something. You give a gift. You give up a physical object to something they desire. You know it because it is a TN3 commerce to understand that when you do it. And basically you distract that character for one round. They cannot add momentum to social objectives. And I find doing this to a PC would also be fine. Is be like, hey, you got something. But now you're like all into it and fiddling with it, or you're distracted. Like, I think this is perfect. Entice with offering, great technique. And it's rank 3 too. Trader's intuition, make an air check targeting an object. It can be a TN2 or 4 depending on what the object is, and then you learn about that object's monetary value and rarity. Perfect. Rank 2 sounds great. Cite the facts is a scheme action targeting another character. The TN is equal to your target's focus minus their current strife, a minimum of 1. You know, they do have rules in the book for contested roles, but they never use that. They just like, the TN is always equal to some static number based on their stats. I think that's fine. I like that better than contested roles. Rolling and rolling and rolling all the time is, especially with NPCs. You guys know how I feel about that. Like, the PCs do active stuff. The NPCs, the NPCs do stuff, and then the PCs react to that kind of stuff. They are the ones that roll the dice, in my opinion. But anyways, that's neither here nor there for this. If you succeed, the target suffers a silence condition unless they choose to gain strife equal to your ranks in command, +1 for every bonus success. So make them quiet, or they can gain strife. This is one of my favorite things about when making social abilities. Like, usually a social ability would be like, hey, make this roll, and then the person does the thing that you want them to do. Whether they're silenced, or they have to tell you something, or they have to do here, It's they must do something or they take this penalty. And that is a good social rule. You have an option, you can do one or the other, and both are kind of bad, but depending on the situation, one might be better than the other one for the situation that you're in, especially when there's resources on the line like strife. And you're like, do I want to strife myself out here? Especially if it's an intrigue scene, and if I get compromised, I have to leave the scene. Like, now you're thinking about stuff and you're thinking for the future and trying to understand what your consequences are for all things considered. That makes for a good social mechanic, in my opinion. Here's the one I'm iffy about. Solidify gratitude. So basically, you make a static TN2 Earth check and give somebody a gift. That person, if you succeed, you gain the ally advantage for that person. That person becomes your ally. And then they can refuse to become your ally, but then they give up glory equal to the rarity of the gift you gave. So basically, it's a way to either get rid of their glory or you get a permanent ally? It's permanent. And it's rank 2, and it gives you a permanent ally. Or you can get rid of their glory. What? And it's not a TN based on like their focus or their like scholar skill. It's just a TN2. It's a TN2, and you have to have a gift already. So I don't know. Are you stingy with money in your game, or are people able to like buy cool stuff and give it to people? What? And here's the thing, like, if you use this technique and you give somebody a gift, and then they're like, well, I don't want to be your ally just because you gave me a gift. I'm going to lose some glory. And then you try it again. Are they going to be like, no, don't accept gifts from this person. It always has stipulations on it. You know, be wary of this person's gift. And now you can't use that technique anymore because now you've gained a reputation. Does that lose you glory? Because you gave somebody a gift with stipulations on it and then that person rumor mongered against you? Like, what are the ramifications of this? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, it does have the two different like options that you can take, which is, I mean, I like that kind of mechanic. I think there's something good in here. But this is not it. If I would change this, I would probably give the ally advantage that you gain either a time limit, like, hey, that person's your ally for a week or a month. But I think more, I would say, this person is your ally. You have the ally advantage until you use that ally advantage once. Once you use that ally advantage, you use it up. And I think that would balance this. I love glorious entrance. When you enter a scene, you make a performance check. And the check TN is equal to the difference between the glory rank of the characters in the scene with the highest glory and your rank minimum of 1. If you succeed, reduce the TN of schemes and support action checks you make by 1 because you're glorious. Look, I made an entrance. I love it. I think it's great. It's rank 2. Incite Wrath. You make a scheme or support action while writing a mount, and you can use opportunity to opportunity. And your mount or animal companion immediately performs a strike action targeting one character within range with one of its readied weapons, and its damage is increased by 1 per 2 opportunities spent this way. Is this a Shuji? It's a Shuji that allows your animal to attack. You make a scheme or support action, and your animal attacks. I don't know how I'm going to use that. I'm sure it can be useful. It's rank 3 too, which is weird. Call to ride makes your basically it's call your animal to you, and it moves towards you. Um, so complimentary experience. You make a TN3 command water check, and that other person basically gets assistance on the next check they make. This basically says you can give people assistance no matter how far away they are, because usually they need to be within range 2. Here, they can just be wherever they are in the scene. Um, Everyone has a price. Bribes a minion. I think this is rank 4. And I don't know why it's rank 4. But like you bribe a minion, and if they accept the bribe, they leave the scene or stop opposing you. Why? First off, rank 3 maybe, but yeah, this is perfect cuz one, it's a minion. So who cares? Right? Um yeah, they're a problem, and then you bribe them and they go away because they're a minion. it's it's great, and it tells you the bribe in value in Koku must equal the target's like the little fan symbol, which is like their intrigue rank. Um their threat rating, you have to give them that much Koku. This is good. Love this one. Horse Whisperer allows you to give wordless commands to your horse. Um, when you make a support check targeting another character, this is appreciate the scenery. If you and the character you are targeting are in dangerous, entangling, hollowed, imbalanced, or obscuring terrain, you may remove strife, get in the emboldened condition, or get the centered condition. And it depends on what your stance is. It's great. It's cool. It's wacky. I love it. And one new water invocation. Um, Basically, it allows you to carry more stuff. Like you are able to overload your character with things. We already covered hewing, which allows you to get through armor. Currency. Now you have some prices that for a currency exchange thing, and price. It just gives you prices for things you might not have thought of before. Like how much is street food? Now you know 6 zenny can give you high price street food, 4 zenny for low price street food. Why weren't these in other books just as regular convenience things, right? Um, but here's the thing: under animals, they have prices for a strong camel, hunting dog, and a falcon, but they don't have prices for horses. There are no prices for horses in any books. There's no prices for servants. There's no prices for horses. You can't buy these things. You're gonna have to make them up as a game master. I mean, it's 10 koku or 20 koku for camels, so I guess maybe 10 more than that for a horse. I don't know. Checking out the chat. How do you mark the sling? Yeah, yeah. Marshall is meditation. Toji Courtier say what? I don't like that technique. I'm probably gonna say it can't exist in my games because I love intrigue, dramatic whodunit intrigue, investigative type games, and it just breaks them. Yeah. Um. Otherworldly encounters. This is intrigue scenes, a new type of intrigue scene specifically for spirits, where they have new social objectives like creating a pact, dispelling possession, inspiring awe, cursing, placating, new actions like compel and entice. There is more stuff here now than there are for human intrigues because there's so many things you can do with spirits. Then it goes through everything you need to do to make a pact with a spirit. Spirit pacts and what kind of boons they are, what the mechanical effects of the boons are. Yeah, this is a cool mechanic. I love spirit packs, and I think that these rules are pretty great. I don't think any of these are broken because a lot of them like get the centered condition, the emboldened condition, like they're fine. Oh, another condition you can get is possessed, and while you are possessed, you can use either your skills and rings or the possessed character's skills and rings. But the thing that possesses you, you kind of have to do what they say or gain strife. And when you become compromised, you unmask and must pursue the possessed creature's goal, the goal of the creature that possessed you. I think that's great. I like that. Why this is different than social roles is because there's an entity actually inhabiting you. People will contextualize that differently than I made a social check and now you have to do what I say, rather than there's a thing possessing you and you are struggling not to do what it says until you reach your breaking point and must. That is great. There are new titles like the Doom Hunter title. Most of these are pretty. I don't think I found one that I thought was like overpowering. And most of these, because they have such a large list of things that you have to use your experience on beforehand, like these techniques are hard to get because of that. White Guard. Student of Names allows you to make Mishoto and not be a Mishoto, like Yuchi Mishoto school. Student of Names gives you the ability to make Mishoto without that school. Tenet of Bushido Compassion. There's not a lot to say about compassion here. Is there something surprising? Apologizing for an innocent mistake is a trifling sacrifice. Here's one that's a breach, and that's purposely undermining another's dignity through prank or an action. I have a lot of characters who do pranks in my game, and they're fun, and I like them. Do I want to give them a breach of compassion when they do that? It's trifling, so it's 1 point. Maybe. New Demeter Compassionate. Do you use Demeters in your game? How does that work out? This is fine. It's okay. They have new NPC templates for the Fox Clan Samurai, a Trickster Animal in Disguise, and a Unicorn Clan Samurai. I'm glad these are back. I like templates. I think they're good to modify a character. I don't like how templates always increase that type of NPC's power, but like it's fine. It works. Horse templates, though. You can add a horse template to any creature. And that includes Ide Traveling Pony, Uchi Riding Steed, Moto Charger, Shinjo Courser, and Utaku Warhorse. Love that. None of these say how much it increases the price of those horses, because horses don't have prices. Lots of new animals, including giant bats, golden eagles, riding deer, like Princess Mononoke, riding bear, tigers, new war dogs, war ponies, desert wild horse. And then the people of the Sand Road, you have all of your NPCs for foreign people to Rokugan. Spirit being, there are a lot of genie here. A chained in, a chain Jin, an Efreet, a Fox Prince, which is a Kitsune spirit, Golden Bird Lord. Yeah, it is a gigantic kite bird with feathers made of gold. It is a big otherworldly bird spirit. A Marid is another type of Jin, and a Yorigumo is a shape-shifting spider spirit. And these things are cool. They have illusionary webs and spin illusions in their webs. I love them. I'm going to use them. I'm going to use them in Shadow Empire. A Lucin Khan is a water spirit. Then we have manticores. Hey! Snow lions, which are another type of spirit. A snow lion is a spirit. And a wind horse, which is another spirit. And then we're here. The Lost Rider is our adventure. It is fine. The best thing about it is you have stats for Daidoji Shin from the Daidoji Shin Mysteries and his assistant, Katsame. I love that. Love it. Love it to death. Mio Tetsuo is the Lord of the City of the Rich Frog. So this takes place in the City of the Rich Frog. They have Daidoji Shin's residence in here. Daidoji Shin's residence. And so, a couple places, not a lot of places. They have a curiosity shop, the Unicorn Docks, and a shrine garden. That is about it. The adventure is there's a poet. It's gone missing. The poet's gone missing. You got to find out what has happened to the poet. I'm not going to tell you the end of this adventure. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. There are a few things that I dislike in it, which are some intrigue scenes, because people keep telling me intrigue scenes are big scenes that require a lot of different factions that do different things. But here, it's a tea ceremony. The intrigue scene's a tea ceremony. Only the PCs are trying to get momentum points. Why is it an intrigue scene? I guess. I don't know. They need 4 momentum points to impress the tea lady to get some information. It's basically a set piece in order to show how a tea ceremony is done. And I appreciate that part. But really, is it an intrigue scene? There is another intrigue scene later on that they also say can be replaced by a narrative scene. You can make it an intrigue or a narrative scene, which I really appreciate that because, again, there's only 2 sides to it. You and another person, all of the PCs and another person. Just one other person. How is that an intrigue scene? I don't understand how those are intrigue scenes. But other than that, I'm not going to tell you anything else about this adventure. Is the adventure great? It is mediocre. But I mean, a great game master can make any adventure really freaking fun. I think this adventure, y'all can get through it in about 4 hours. Yeah, it's about a 4-hour adventure. Starting characters are fine. Rank 2 characters are fine for this adventure. And that is it. That's the book, guys. It's $50. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Join our Patreon to help support this channel. If you're Edge Studios or Asmodee, send me more stuff like this. I'd love to talk about it and give people my opinions. I want to say about this book, should you buy this book? As a game master, I think this book has limited functionality if you want to make a unicorn-centric game or a game that is out in the Burning Sands. As a player, unless you're playing a unicorn clan, I don't think it is useful for you unless you're a unicorn clan player. Or unless you want to play a foreigner. So this is a great book. This is a great book to combine with Path of Waves. This is a great book for the Unicorn Clan. This is a great book for a game master looking for options outside of Rokugan to add to their game. If you're looking for a more traditional L5R game, this may not be the book for you, but I think there's a lot of value in it nonetheless, especially if you love the lore of Rokugan. I think this is better than Rid of the Wilds uh, because everything in here that they talk about, they give pretty good crunchy rules for, with a few notable exceptions. But I don't think that's a game. That's a red flag. Uh, so yeah, um, that is my review. Thank you for watching. Go out there, play your own Legend of the Five Rings game. I implore you, whether it be this edition, previous editions, or uh, Adventures in Rokugan. Go out there and roll some dice. Thank you, everybody.